Hello, I am wanting to look at whether or not people can basically disappear into another dimension. Now, we've heard about occasions where people have uh, the time travel. There's a very famous I think it was from the 1800s. Maybe, sorry about everything shifting as I shift. There was two women that went to Versailles, and they went on this walk, and they claimed that after a little while they realized everything looked really different, and they felt a little disoriented, and there were people wearing they could see people wearing the old clothing, back in Versailles, beginning days. And I guess I will put up a link for that, so I won't go on too much about that. But the basis of it is like, can people sometimes actually get shifted into actually to another dimension physically? I mean, I believe that can happen most certainly. Spirit, because you don't have a body and you're just energy and you can go between realms. I gut level think that it's probably possible, because the universe is a crazy place, and just the law of statistics, I'm going to say there's probably a remote possibility that this happens from time to time. But hey, let's see what the cards have to say. This was a good question, a great question asked by my youngest. So kudos to them for asking the question, because it is something I've thought about before too. People just, I don't know, teleport somehow, some way. A window opens up that we don't know about, and they can just, with their bodies, go into another dimension. Is that possible? So I'm asking my spiritual mentors, the Creator, and my ancestors, and to help me read on this very unique and intriguing question accurately, to the truth, and what the Creator, the universe, is willing to reveal about this question. What do we need to know? Is it possible? Does it happen? Can people be transported not only in time, but let's say into a completely different dimension, outside of time, with their physical bodies? Does this happen? Here's the Princess of Wands. So we've got energy that we're looking at. Let's see if I can. I'll probably just end up messing this up. The Emperor. Four of Wands. And the Six of Pentacles. Well, I'm getting that somebody would have to have a masterful command of this energy to do that. Or, I think, be summoned by a greater power that can do this. With the wands and the emperor, that makes me feel like that's the master authority. And the Four of Wands is usually about society and the world and the environment around us and what is around us, who is around us. So I'm going to say that feels like environment. So whether or not it is a leap back in Earth time or to a completely different place altogether that's not Earth-based, I feel like, yes, it can happen. But there has to be the correct balance. Six of Pentacles. There's the need of, I feel like you'd have to have like some supernatural, quote-unquote, help. Spiritual help to do it. Let's see what else we got. Hangman. It requires a different perspective. This is also something that is a delayed. Princess of Wands. That makes me feel like, are we dealing with like technology, advancement? You know, just understanding. And we're not advanced there yet to do it on our own, but I do think that other beings of power and intelligence can do this if they want to. But right here, but I think it's rare, and I don't think I think it's trying to indicate that this is not something that a person would just be able to do all by themselves with their own self-will. This has to be the will of a greater power. That's the Ace of Wands. A lot of Wands energy. So it is talking about energy and shifting. And also that it's just a different perspective that exists that you weren't aware of. These worlds, these dimensions, whatever, they exist. You're just because you're not aware of it doesn't mean they don't exist. It's definitely a message here. And you guys haven't even begun to, like, we haven't even begun to really understand or develop. We'll just be beginning in the relatively near future, I think, developing better baby steps, understanding of these kinds of concepts. That's the Magician, and it's falling under the Four of Wands. Yeah, there are powers that can do that. But there is a message that it is not something, that individuals can do, because they could wreak havoc. And that's the Five of Swords. Can cause loss. Yeah. I feel like that power has kind of been withheld from humanity, wisely, for itself to be able to do it. I think we're going to have to level up in all understanding. Excuse me, I have got a hangnail, but I think we have to level up, and we're certainly, our beings have that potential, but, you know, we have a long way potentially to go. Depends on how things, what you think is a long time, and how things end up going, because people's free will is fluid many times. It can change. And so there's always that odd chance that things might be different. But this shows me, it makes me feel like the message is humans again, yeah, and there's like loss of that. I almost wonder if we once had it, and then we got in trouble because we were perhaps not using it no, I just feel like it's saying that there are larger, not larger, but there are more powerful beings that initiate that. That is not and would not be something that humanity can do yet on its own. And it's interesting because it's giving me a yet with this second line. It's just kind of on hold because we need to, let's see, 5 of Swords, you know, we need to be trustworthy. And, you know, given our current kind of situation, I would say if I were an intelligence looking at this, I'd be going, yeah, no, they're not ready yet. They have a little while to go. Let's get them going in that direction. But it looks like that's potentially humanity has great potential to develop into a very enlightened being. And or beings. And I think that this is indicating that's what we're meant to evolve, you know, to be able to do such things. But we have to really clean up our act and be worthy of that kind of, and responsible to handle that kind of power. And we're just not. But other beings are. Okay, let's get that third row in. The Chariot, yes. I'm also getting a feeling of children with this Princess of Wands. There's a youthfulness and an innocence. And the Hanged Man, it makes me feel like, are you talking about some of these people that might go, that seems suspended between states? It might be that they're not really in one state or the other, or that they're going back and forth. There's some feeling here I can't quite describe, but the Hanged Man also makes me, it can also denote someone who is kind of, no other way to put it, kind of like sacrifice, that they are the ones that end up being picked for whatever. And the Chariot makes me feel like, yes, they can go someplace else. They can go. But to know that, we would have to change our thinking around to understand how that's possible with the Hanged Man. Okay. Now with the Emperor, the Ace of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, it has to be with the successful development of personal. To me, the Nine of Pentacles is a very positive card to me. And when it's properly dignified, it is about somebody who's really done a lot of self-work and been real. It is what I aspire to. And has faced their, fears, done their shadow work, and is trying to serve not only their own needs, but to be helpful in some way to humanity, a positive influence with their success that they gain. And this to me is a positive sense of that, not a negative sense. So there is some kind of empowerment issue, and I believe, yeah, they're taken. Some people are taken, and it feels like there is knowledge that they're gaining and experience. They need the experience and the knowledge, and so there's spirit that can kind of send them on a trip, so to speak. Yeah, they've got your flight tickets. You're going to be going to Neptune. It's a very dreamy, vision-like place. Or you're going to visit the underworld where people are crossing over or in the middle of transitioning, this sort of thing. I think it happens more than we realize, that we just need to change the way that our perspective. Again, it's really a lot about humanity changing its perspective. And in so many things, not just this, but just in general. And here we have Pisces Australis, the Four of Swords. This is rest. This is peace. This is peace, success, growth, and there's well-being, and there is peace. Yeah, and Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I kind of surprised to say it and not at the same time, and that's under the Five. Yeah, they go missing. Some people do, and I do think they can be taken to another dimension. There's a lot of different worlds, a lot of different realities, and it's up to not human so much powers, but the powers that and the spirits that guide our growth and our need of experience. And if we need to go there, we're going to go there. So I hope that answers the question, because I believe, yes, we can. It is not within current most human power. It's indicating to me to summon this and do it themselves. We're kind of on hold from that because we don't have the understanding. We would have to change our perspective with that Hanged Man, and then we'll begin to understand and see how that is definitely possible, and the nuts and bolts of that, if you will, to some degree here, how that works. And there will be more peace with this. there's a greater understanding of how worlds are all interconnected, like a family, like layers, like the rings in a tree. It's a fascinating question. Now, there is the devil, there is temptation to abuse that power. Yeah, with the Four of Cups. So again, there's a sense of waiting. Again, I feel like humanity is having to wait because we're still far too corrupt. We're still far too apt to be seduced by temptation of power or misuse. We need to mature. We need to change our perspective. And that means having to go through some uncomfortable stuff to get ourselves to slow down and get a different point of view. Things like the pandemic rather, are things that happen on a large scale to get humanity to shift. And right now is prime time, so this answers it, and it looks like it's further into our future. That we've got our homework to do before we'll ever be able to summon it ourselves. But right now, powers that be that protect us and monitor over us in a very parental type way handle that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for now because I'm a little bit tired, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. And if you enjoy my content, please make sure that you are subscribed and put the thumbs up. Thank you so much.